Anthropic just deployed a frontier AI model to find software vulnerabilities that humans missed for 27 years. Here's what that means for your security strategy. Google's new open source models run entirely on your phone with zero cloud dependency, and we're exploring what that unlocks for your product. Plus, an open source model just beat proprietary coding assistants at autonomous software engineering. No BS AI briefing, brought to you by Proactive AI. Welcome back. I'm your host Vikash, and this is where builders get straightforward AI news without the fluff. Alright, let's jump right into the headlines for April 7th and 8th, 2026. First up, Anthropic just deployed Claude Mythos preview for defensive cybersecurity. This is huge. On April 7th, Anthropic launched Project Glasswing, pushing its unreleased frontier model Claude Mythos preview to over 40 partner organizations. Think names like AWS, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks. What's it doing? It's autonomously identifying and patching critical software vulnerabilities in foundational systems and open source code bases. It's already discovered thousands of high severity 0 days, including a bug in OpenBSD that had been lurking there for 27 years. I mean, think about that for a second. Anthropic also committed $100 million in usage credits and 4 million in direct donations to open source security organizations like Alpha, Omega, and the Apache Software Foundation. This really sets a new precedent for AI driven defensive security at infrastructure scale. It's a model for how frontier AI can be deployed for systemic risk reduction. For builders, this signals that frontier models aren't just commercial products anymore. They may be treated as critical infrastructure, and that's got implications for access, licensing, and regulatory oversight down the line. If you're building security tools, you've now got to benchmark against a model with demonstrated 0 day discovery capabilities. That raises the bar significantly for competitive differentiation. Next, Google DeepMind just released Gemma 4, open models with multimodal and agentic capabilities. Also on April 7th, Google DeepMind launched Gemma 4, a family of 4 new open source models. We're talking E2B, E4B, 26B, 31B, all optimized for efficiency and advanced reasoning. These models support multimodal inputs, so that's text, image, audio, and they come with native function calling for agentic workflows. Benchmarks show a 20x improvement on agentic tool use and over 80% on scientific reasoning, which is pretty wild. What's even more interesting is Google released AI Edge Eloquent, a free offline iOS dictation app powered by Gemma 4, demonstrating that these powerful models can run entirely on device without any cloud dependency. For builders, this is a massive win. It provides a high performance, open alternative to proprietary models for building local low latency AI agents. That's critical for privacy first and edge deployed applications. It proves that powerful models can indeed run entirely on device, enabling a whole new class of consumer AI apps without cloud infrastructure costs or data transmission risks. You can fine tune and deploy these models using standard frameworks like PyTorch and Hugging Face for pretty much any enterprise or consumer application you can imagine. Also, ZI released GLM 5.1, an open model for long horizon agentic coding. This also hit the wire on April 7th. ZI launched GLM 5.1, an MIT licensed open source model specifically optimized for long horizon agentic tasks. And they're really leaning into autonomous software engineering here. This model is achieving state-of-the-art performance on SBW Bench Pro at 58.4%, Terminal Bench 2.0 at 63.5%, and GPQA Diamond at 86.2%. What's key is it can sustain hundreds of iterative tool calls, self-correcting over extended sessions. The weights are available on Hugging Face and Model Scope, and it integrates easily with OpenClaw, VLLM, and SGLang for deployment. Why does this matter for builders? It's the first model explicitly engineered for autonomous, multi-step software development, not just code completion or simple suggestions. It's enabling AI-driven engineering workflows at scale. Its open source nature means you can customize it for domain specific code bases, whether you're in fintech, healthcare, or embedded systems, reducing your dependency on proprietary coding assistants. If you're building AI coding assistants, GLM 5.1 can be your baseline for long running agent workflows, significantly reducing human intervention and accelerating those development cycles. Then we've got GitHub introducing batch fix for code scanning alerts. According to the GitHub changelog on April 7th, they've launched a new feature that allows developers to batch apply security alert fixes from code scanning directly within a pull requests files changed tab. This means multiple fixes can be consolidated into a single commit, cutting down the number of scans required and accelerating remediation workflows. For builders, this reduces a significant amount of friction in securing CI CD pipelines, which is absolutely critical for startups and enterprises scaling AI powered applications, especially with strict compliance requirements. It enables faster compliance with security standards like SOC 2 and ISO 27001 without slowing down development velocity, which is a key concern for any security conscious founder. Plus, it integrates seamlessly with existing GitHub actions and DevSecOps workflows, so adoption friction is super low. That's a real quality of life improvement for engineering teams. And finally, India's proposed AI regulation is being criticized for an outdated framework. The Economic Times reported on April 7th that India's proposed AI regulatory framework, informed by Niti Aayog, is drawing fire. Experts are saying it relies on outdated concepts like algorithmic accountability and data localization without properly addressing agentic AI risks or model transparency. They warn this framework could stifle innovation and might fail to protect citizens from AI driven disinformation and automated bias. So, what does this mean for builders? Indian startups developing AI products must now prepare for a regulatory environment that might not align with global standards like the EU AI Act. This could create significant compliance fragmentation. Founders should really anticipate increased compliance costs and potential market segmentation if India's rules diverge from international norms. That's a serious risk for any AI product aiming for global reach. This also signals a growing global trend. Regulation is lagging behind technical capability, creating a lot of uncertainty for builders operating across different jurisdictions. Wild, right? Now, let's take a deeper dive into one of these stories. I want to unpack Anthropic's Project Glasswing and what it means for AI as critical infrastructure. What happened here is pretty straightforward. Anthropic, known for its Claude models, launched Project Glasswing. They've taken their frontier model, Claude Mythos preview, and deployed it to over 40 major tech players. Think AWS, Google, Microsoft. This model isn't just generating text, it's hunting for software vulnerabilities. We are talking about an AI autonomously identifying and patching critical zero-day flaws in foundational systems and open source code bases. It's already found thousands of high-severity bugs, including that wild 27-year-old OpenBSD vulnerability that somehow evaded human detection for decades. And it's not just about the tech. Anthropic is backing this up with serious money, committing $100 million in usage credits and $4 million in direct donations to open source security organizations. It's a full court press on using AI for defensive security. Why it matters right now is all about market positioning and systemic risk. Project Glasswing represents a fundamental shift in how frontier AI is deployed and governed. Anthropic isn't just competing on consumer features or chatbot smarts. They're positioning Claude Mythos Preview as a foundational defensive tool for systemic risk reduction. This is the first large-scale deployment of a frontier model specifically for infrastructure security, and it signals a new way AI labs might differentiate themselves in what's rapidly becoming a commoditized model market. This isn't just about making better software, it's about making the entire software ecosystem safer. The discovery of that 27-year-old OpenBSD bug is proof of how frontier models can find novel, high impact security flaws that humans have missed. It really flips the script on how we think about AI safety too, using frontier AI to reduce systemic risk rather than just worrying about its misuse. So, who should care about this? Well, if you're a founder building security tools, this is a massive wake up call. Glasswing raises the bar for pretty much every security focused AI tool out there. You're now competing against a frontier model with demonstrated zero-day discovery capabilities. Your differentiation strategy needs to be crystal clear, whether that's hyper-specific domain expertise, maybe particular vulnerability classes or industry verticals, or seamless integration into existing workflows. For infrastructure builders, this is a clear signal that frontier models are going to be allocated to critical infrastructure problems before they hit consumer applications. You should expect AI labs to actively enter your markets, whether you're building security tools, compliance platforms, or DevSecOps infrastructure. And for big tech companies, AWS, Google, Microsoft, and others, they're now reliant on Anthropic's model for security audits of their own code bases. This creates a fascinating new form of leverage and dependency in the AI supply chain. How I think about it as a builder is that this isn't just an incremental improvement, it's a strategic pivot. We've always thought about AI as an offensive weapon or a productivity booster, but here it's being deployed as fundamental protective infrastructure. It's like building a next generation immune system for the entire software world. As a founder, you have to ask yourself, how do I build a product that either complements this kind of capability or finds a niche that it can't touch? You can't just build another vulnerability scanner. You need to think about what the human AI loop looks like here. Are you building the interface, the remediation workflow, or the specialized knowledge base that the AI consults? Don't try to outcompute the frontier models at pure vulnerability discovery. Instead, focus on the human expertise, the operationalization, and the last mile of security that these models still need. The opportunity is in augmentation, not replacement. My no BS take: while Anthropic's framing of discovering vulnerabilities better than all but the most skilled humans is certainly marketing language, and let's be real, it's not replacing human security researchers, it's augmenting them. The core claim holds weight. That 27-year-old OpenBSD bug is an outlier, but it proves the potential. The limitation right now is access. It's a closed ecosystem restricted to partners. That could slow down broader security innovation. But the risk here is real. If frontier models become the primary tool for vulnerability discovery, then security itself could become a function of which organizations have access to the latest, most powerful models, potentially widening the security gap between well funded companies and smaller startups. That's something we need to watch very closely. If you want one practical takeaway from today's episode, here it is. Experiment and audit your code base with open source agentic models. This is about getting hands on with the new generation of AI. Here's how to try it in under 60 minutes. First, you're going to download GLM 5.1 weights from Hugging Face. Or if you prefer, you can use Gemma 4 via Google's API just to get started. Choose a non-critical code base, maybe an internal tool or a side project that your team works on, nothing that would cause a catastrophe if something goes sideways. Second, set up a simple agentic workflow. You can use tools like VLLM or SGLang, which make it pretty straightforward. Your goal is to iterate over your chosen code. Ask the model to identify potential vulnerabilities. What security flaws can it spot? Ask it about performance bottlenecks. Are there areas where the code could be more efficient, or even architectural issues? Are there design choices that could be improved? Give it a task, a goal, and let it run. Finally, compare the model's findings against your team's manual code review process. Where did the model add unique value? What new insights did it surface that humans might have missed? And just as importantly, where did it miss context or make mistakes? This comparison is key. Why this specific experiment is worth your time right now? Because it gives you direct hands-on experience with these long horizon agentic models. You'll develop an intuitive understanding of where AI-driven code analysis truly fits into your development workflow today and where it still falls short. It's not about replacing your team, but understanding how to empower them and how to build with, not against, these new capabilities. You'll start to see the real implications of models like GLM 5.1 and Gemma 4 in a practical context. That's it for today's No BS AI briefing. If this helped, follow the show in your podcast app and share it with one builder you know. And if you've got questions or topics you want covered, connect with me on LinkedIn and send them over. See you in the next briefing.